I now have the great privilege of welcoming our Honorable Vice-Chancellor of Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Professor C.B. Sanjeevi, to deliver the inaugural address. Professor Dr. C.B. Sanjeevi assumed charge as the 11th Vice-Chancellor of Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning on 23rd November 2019. He has been at the Karolinska Institute, a medical university in Stockholm, Sweden, since 1989. As you all might be aware, Karolinska Institute is known for selecting and awarding the Nobel Prize for Physiology and Medicine. He heads the Diabetes Immunology Research Group at the Center for Molecular Medicine and is affiliated to the Department of Medicine. His group's focus is on autoimmune diabetes. He is also the editor of the prestigious Immunology of Diabetes, published by the Annals of the New York Academy of Sciences. Among the several awards and recognitions conferred on Professor Sanjeevi, the most notable and prestigious one is the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award from the Government of India for eminence in one's field or outstanding work, which has enhanced India's prestige in the country of residence. It is the highest honor conferred on persons of Indian origin by the Government of India in recognition of their achievements both in India and abroad. Please join me in welcoming Professor Dr. C.B. Sanjeevi to the stage.
It gives me enormous pleasure to be here and listen to all the wonderful talks that the physics department has put together under the leadership of Dr. Deepa. It gives me quite a bit of excitement and also a bit of stress. Until it's all concluded, we do not know how it had gone. But I'm sure everything will go very well because most of the speakers have consented and some of them have even given their talks in advance. So it was a big challenge for me. How am I going to fit into the physics ecosystem? Okay, as Dr. Deepa rightly pointed out, no discipline can function in isolation. So you need to have many of these disciplines come together so that the science can advance and humanity can advance, and the world will be a better place to live. So it was a big challenge for me because everything is formulas, everything is astro-nuclear, So in this context, I need to really come up with some idea that would not only impress the physicists here, but also the audience. So it's quite a big challenge. So I bounced off few ideas to both Dr. Gauri Shankar and Dr. Deepa, and I arrived at this topic called medical holography. It might sound like a science fiction to you, but it is fantastic. It's fantastic because it brings together a lot of things that would make life easy, not just for a cardiologist, but for a neurologist, for a variety of specialties that moves forward with some of the critical, sensitive aspects of healthcare. So I hope at the end of the talk, you can tell me whether I have done the right connections between medicine and physics. But I'm looking at physics from the medicine perspective. So I might not show some formulas or I might not discuss any of the physical laws here. But let's see. Okay, so the talk that I'm going to give is medical holography. So many of you have known hologram. So hologram you have imagined in so many different contexts. So what is medical hologram? Okay. So Dr. Deepa mentioned about the CT scan, which involves physics, the PET scan, the MRI scan. And what does it do? It slices your body, okay, into multiple sections in a virtual manner. And what happens then? So all the data that is captured by that slices is taken up into the air and come to the computer where it's all assembled together. So there is a software that puts all these bits and pieces of information together and you create an image. And what it has known, CT scanners won the Nobel Prize, MRI scanners won the Nobel Prize. So it has been very well recognized for the enormous contribution these technologies have made to medicine. Now if you put these together, what you see is a cut section of a human body in a 2-dimension. Okay? You cannot see the length or the breadth, or you cannot see the dimensions and things like that. So I had the privilege of visiting one of the universities in Sweden called Linköping University. Okay? They are fantastic in medical imaging. So wherever you go, you need to think differently. You need to apply your ideas differently. You can marry a lot of technologies together to come out with some wonderful product. So what they did was something astounding. So they collected all the data that usually comes from a CT scan or an MRI scan that brings the picture in 2D. But instead of 2D in front of a computer screen, why don't we give a picture in 3D and put it in a hologram concept so that you can go around the organ, you can look at it, you can tilt it. It had phenomenal application. Assume you are a neurosurgeon. Okay, you have a brain tumor. It's not sitting there like a tennis ball, round, beautifully shaped. But it is spread everywhere with tentacles here, there, and extensions here. So you need to really map the entire spread of the cancer. And you need to decide which is the approach you should go into the brain in order to dissect those spread of the cancer into the brain. It's not just the cancer. If you want to look at the dynamics of the heart, if you want to look at the spinal disorder, something like that. So you can convert the 2D into 3D and 3D into a hologram, and this has phenomenal implications. So if you assume you scan the entire body from head to foot, okay? It's a lot of data, enormous amount of data. You'll have to crunch all the data. Your normal computers cannot handle that data because it's whole body. Now if you do CT scan, it's 128 slice CT scan of the heart. Okay, the number of slices, if they are more, the resolution of the heart becomes very high. Okay, now if you do a complete section of the human body, maybe it will be 1,000 slices, you do not know, maybe 2,000. Now in this technology, what you can do is assemble the human body and project it right in front of you. Okay, you can tilt the human body. Okay, it's fantastic in terms of trying to get medical students learn anatomy by dissection instead of a real body with a virtual body. Okay, assume somebody has died somewhere. Okay, we can do virtual autopsy by transferring the entire data to somebody where the expert is, so that they can really cut open the body and see if it is coronary artery disease or if there is some ischemia in the brain. Now all this is possible because you have created one more step in the analysis, so that you are making 2D into 3D and 3D into something that is much beyond the realm of our imagination. All this is possible mainly because the computational tools have become very powerful, the data crunching has become faster, and the transmission of all this data from the machine to the computer and the computer to the imaging system that projects it all requires enormous bandwidth in order for transfer of these data. So I thought I'll share some of those thoughts, and I am bringing few ideas that is being pursued actively. If I can motivate some of you, maybe we could do it here also. Okay, this is how I seed my thoughts. So let's go to the next slide. So LIU in this slide refers to Linköping University. Okay, Linköping University is nowhere bigger than SSSIHL. Okay, this university is one of the world leading university in the field that encompasses both the advanced image analysis as well as conversion of enormous amount of data into something that is understandable in terms of images or maps or diagrams. Okay, so the results are used in some kind of an augmented reality setting with immersive environment. That is, you get involved in it. Okay, you can even miniaturize yourself and go into the brain, walk there and see. Okay, So it's all in our own hands how you use these tools, not just for understanding the anatomy or functionality of the organization, how you can go and fix things, because that's the most vital thing. Because if somebody has some problem, you need to have the minimally invasive approach in order to try and get there, so that we solve it. And this is a fantastic tool. So in this world, not 10 years ago, not 20 years ago, it's impossible. Now you can have 2 or 3 terabytes of data squeezed into one pen drive, which is impossible. I still have my first Apple notebook computer, which has got 8 megabyte hard drive memory. The file that we transfer in WhatsApp is much larger than that. I still have that as my souvenir. So the ever increasing amount of information and torrents of data, we can handle all that not from a computational perspective, but also in terms of data traffic. Okay? So this also puts us into another realm of doing things that we never ever thought is possible. Okay? So these guys have put all these things together. You need to have computational expertise, you need to have physics expertise, you need to have medical people involved in this. If you bring all these 3 people together, maybe some parts of India nothing will happen, but somewhere a lot of things can happen in some other place. I wish that our university, we should be able to create a lot of things. Okay? So this is something don't think I'm trying to hype it up. This is real. You will see how much enthusiasm I am having in my talk in terms of some of the images I'm going to show. So in this particular university, they produced advanced algorithm, which we can do, methods to convert terabytes of data and megabytes into something human can cope with and understand. So just as important as processes which the instructions are sent back and forth, the systems are designed to take signals and interpret it. So it requires a lot of testing, a lot of computational, enormous software skills that are needed. So in this thing, you bring future of intelligent holographic avatar. This is when the hologram really takes into effect. That answers questions, some are fundamental. You can go to places that you can never ever visit normally, and these places are inside your body. And there is one more guy I want to introduce in this talk. I would have spoken about this guy to many of you. This guy is another Swede, but he comes from Karolinska Institute, where I come from. His name is Lennart Nilsson. Lennart Nilsson is one of the world famous medical photographer. He takes photograph inside your body in ways that you can never ever imagine. Okay? How you can try and put Lennart Nilsson into the guys who are working in Linköping University. I mean, something phenomenal can happen. And just to introduce you what Lennart Nilsson is about, I brought this book, which some of you I have shared. I've shared it with our registrar, our controller. All of them have given me fantastic feedback. And I showed the images to Dr. Deepa. She said, wow. She didn't say anything more, So this is the picture that Lennart Nilsson took. And this whole book is full of pictures. And he tells stories with pictures. And all the pictures are all medical pictures taken inside your body. Okay? This is the picture that he took nearly 40 years ago. And this picture featured in a magazine called as Life, which is the sister magazine to the magazine called Time. And it came on the cover page. You can see the fetus with a thumb in the mouth. Can you ever get this resolution? This is inside the body. And he had perfected the technique of going in and taking pictures. And I'm going to show you the picture of Lennart Nilsson to tell you the mind has no barriers. Nothing is impossible. You just have to find the right tools to go and get things done in the way you have imagined. And the way Lennart Nilsson has imagined it. It's phenomenal. He died a few years ago at the age of 88. And I am privileged to have one of the pictures he had taken of a human embryo at the age of 11 weeks, where the skull is closing over the brain with the signature. You don't require any big price. This autographed picture is the biggest prize you can get. And I'm of course, talking like this, you will know that I'm already his fan. Okay, and I'm making more fans out of you for Lennart in this. So next slide, please. So this center called, I'm not trying to advertise in Linköping University, please don't think like that, but I'm trying to show what they have done. The Center for Medical Image Science and Visualization is the name that they have given for this particular center. And their job is nothing but go after the image analysis. And you can see in the picture, there are a set of guys sitting in the side room in front of the computer. And what they are seeing through from a glass pane is somebody being screened in an MRI scan. Okay, this is just the beginning of the story. And I don't think I can read, or many people can read what's in the text. The CMV is a multidisciplinary research center that is initiated by Linköping University and the local region, the municipality. So we should try and engage our Puttaparthi municipality so that if we do great things, this place will become huge and fantastic, and that's exactly what happened to the Linköping University. So the Linköping University conducts focused frontline research that is multidisciplinary, and they are that is generated with full like a company setting but inside a university. So they have all kinds of experts, but the fundamental brain is the physicist there. Okay, so we have lots of physicist brain here in our university. Okay, so in this particular institute, the mission is to develop further methods and tools for image analysis and visualization for applications within healthcare and medical research. And this kind of a visualization is a fantastic tool. You know, the Philips, which is creating a lot of image systems, have come and taken license for some of the tools that these people have developed. And a Japanese firm has come up, and they have already partnered with the local Swedish company called Sectra. Because without the industry participation, the advancement may not be as fast or as rapid as you would like to expect. So there is a marriage of the center with the industry partner that takes the whole thing forward for people's benefit. Now it's being adopted in so many centers. Next slide, please. So in the image force, now they are taking it up to a little bit more sophisticated applications, and they are using all this image analysis and 3D modeling for neurosurgery, which is one of the key areas where image analysis and three-dimensional reconstruction becomes extremely crucial. Because if somebody has got a stroke and you find where actually the block is, there are two kinds of stroke. Either you can have an embolic stroke where an emboli goes and blocks the blood vessel, whatever area of the brain that blood vessel supplies becomes non-functional. Or it can, the blood vessel can bleed so that the blood gets everywhere. The intracranial pressure becomes little bit hard because your cranium is encasing the whole thing, so the brain cannot expand. So it becomes very hard, and these tools are making it easy for them to go and identify where the problem is, how to fix the problem, what is the right approach, and things like that. So they have clearly chosen neurosurgery as one particular area where their image analysis is really relevant. Next slide, please. So they still, there's a lot of technology involved here. You just don't go about the image analysis alone. So they have analytical image diagnostics arena. Now you'll have to marry artificial intelligence to it now, because that's becoming one of the top tools available. And in addition to artificial intelligence, if you bring in 5G into the picture, transmission of data becomes very easy across the globe. The traffic becomes huge. Okay? So it's not just the analysis, it's just the transportation of the data, the computational capabilities, and of course the application, not just in general, as I told you about doing anatomy dissection or doing autopsy kind of a thing, to particular organ specific problems. And one of the slides that I'm going to show probably in the video is, you can take the heart out. Okay, you can hold it. You can rotate it, you can turn it around, and you know exactly where things had gone wrong, which in a two-dimensional plane you will not be able to visualize. Okay, the next way for better visualization is called angiography or angiogram, where you have to inject something into the body, so that it becomes invasive. Here it is non-invasive. Now we can do it in terms of all the tools available and all the technology that is available to us nowadays. Next slide, please. So here comes this guy, Lennart Nilsson. He is one of my favorites. This is how he looks like. And he died a few years ago. And his books are hot sellers. And he used to hold exhibitions in variety of places. And these exhibits will attract a lot of people. And if you want to buy any of the pictures that he had taken, including this lovely picture, you can order it online now. And you can frame it and you can keep it just to let go your imagination. It's unbelievable, you know. So now we have, just like a Nobel Prize, Lennart Nilsson Prize for medical imaging. Now, this recent Lennart Nilsson Prize was given to somebody from the imaging lab of the Linköping University. What more combination you can want? Okay, so Lennart Nilsson is from a medical perspective, he's done unbelievable things. Okay, he was born in Sweden in 22. Okay, so if he is alive, he would have been 98 now. So he began his career as a freelance journalist. I don't know what attracted him to Karolinska Institute. And he got anything he asked, the Vice-Chancellor will say, take it. There's no question, no budget restriction, nothing for him, you know, because the creativity that he is bringing is phenomenal. And the repute that the institution getting by funding him is beyond value, you know, it's phenomenal. So he has been doing this for a lot of time, lot of years. And he's a legend for medical photography in the whole world, basically. So his early photographic essays, including general pictures of the environment, and he gained international attention through the publication in leading photojournalism magazine like Life, Picture Post and Illustrated. All those magazines are dead now. You see, they are no longer publishing any of those magazines. So in 50, he began experimenting with new photographic techniques, including macro and micro photography, which led to the books called Ants and Life in the Sea. And this book is about child is born. From the time the conception happens until the baby is delivered. All the things that goes through the baby inside the womb is pictured. Okay? So, I mean, I don't know how you can visualize how somebody can take photography like that. This is pure physics, okay? So, it remains a remarkable in combination of unending patience to fully explore his subjects, combined with journalistic eye, artist's sense of form and color, and technicians' inventive skills to maximize available light and capture spectacular imagination. So you not just have a handle on technology, you need to know so many other things, even a normal photographer, in terms of light, in terms of angle, you know, so many things becomes... and for the first time in Karolinska Institute, a medical photographer was made a professor. We don't do that normally, you know. So if we can do it, we will make Raghuram a professor soon. Okay? So there is phenomenal opportunity that we need to identify, recognize that opportunity and give an academic aspect to it, then that field will grow phenomenally. Next slide, please. So that was Lennart Nilsson. This is the picture you've already seen that made him phenomenal. This picture, brought all his other work to light. So I can show you a lot of pictures, but if you happen to get hold of this book, you can see even more stuff. That makes you think, life is not what we imagine. From the time somebody is conceived, you know, until they is delivered, there are 100,000 times things can go wrong. Okay? But still, when you are born in good shape. That's a miracle. For that miracle, you need to know what's happening here. Otherwise, baby is born, every mother is happy, baby is happy, we stop there. But every process, since the baby is born, still the life struggle continues. Many things can go wrong until we are adult as we are right now today. Okay, we spoke about pandemic. How many people have been killed in the pandemic? So we are all survived the pandemic. So we have some special reasons to live in this world compared to those who passed away. Okay, so the life has so many different reasons to keep you alive and make you do things. It is just that when you see this picture and how a baby goes from conception to delivery, your imagination, I mean, this is where Swami comes into the picture. There are so many places Swami thinks he can fix it, but we do not know how that happens. So many people come to Swami and say, Swami, I don't have children. Swami, we need to have your blessings. The prayer is answered. How did he work? Did he work at the conception stage, or did he work little later stage, or did he work at the delivery stage? But it had happened. So there are parts that is beyond our reach, beyond our control, that when you realize it, the wow factor is phenomenal. Next slide, please. So now they are trying, now in this Lennart Nilsson award that was given to this guy called Anders, and Anders is one of the senior persons in the visualization lab in Linköping University, who had gone and perfected how they can take images like this and look at the complete arterial structure that is going to the brain. So you can select from these images exactly what part you want to highlight, what organ you want to highlight. If you want to highlight the vascular system, you can highlight it, because it's all in your hands. It's just in the computer. You just make the appropriate selection. You highlight that particular important aspect. You go in depth. Now, when you have this in 3 dimension, you can imagine how much exciting it becomes. So this is the fascinating part. And the next slide, please. And this is what we call it as medical holography. So medical holography, I hope, is going to transform the way we are going to treat patients, whether it is therapeutic or whether it is surgical intervention or whatever. And you can see in this particular picture, the heart is floating. And this guy who is seeing the heart has got headgear that is going to make him see all these things. With this, you can really look at the heart and do. Now, should I highlight the medical part here that is really valued, or should I highlight the physical part, the physicist's role in this? But you are trying to bring together a lot of technologies here, the mathematicians, the computer science, the physics, the medicine, everything is making it possible. And none of the disciplines that we have should be done or chasing things in isolation. That's why I'm very keen at SSSIHL. We need to have a lot of interdisciplinary activities and programs, and we are not far from creating something like this. We have the imagination. We have the knowledge. We can find the money. What we have that most people do not have is we have Swami with us. So we can really create a lot of opportunities. Next slide, please. So this is a particular company that got spun off out of all the work that had happened, and this company is called Real View Imaging, and I was able to take a video out of them just to show you what it is all about and how this technology can really be very transformative. So here this company delivers real-time 3D interference based hologram based on a digital light shaping technology, and that's what termed it. So this again started with physics, with one of the Nobel laureates who won the prize called Professor Gabor, and he had made holography as one of his themes. And holography is the best method known to science to precisely reconstruct and display 3D objects in free space. Okay, as holography is an optical reality and not an optical illusion. Okay. With this technique, we can have Swami walk from his home to Mandir and sit in his chair. We have the image. It is just that making an optical illusion into optical reality is possible. Okay. So it's almost impossible to distinguish between high quality reconstructional hologram and the original real object. So that difference is fading with the improvement in the resolution that we are looking for. So when we had the early digital cameras, Just what you can take 8 megapixels of 1 megapixel, I don't know. Now you have 64 megapixels and it's all going even bigger than that if you take the latest Samsung phone. So the resolution quality is also going to go up and up. And I would like you to watch this video. And with that video, after you have listened, I will conclude my presentation. Saira. So I will request Raghuram to play that video. It's 3 minutes or 3 minutes 30 seconds.
The world of medicine is transforming from open surgery to minimally invasive interventions. As a cardiologist performing these procedures, I rely exclusively on medical imaging to guide me. Over the past few years, real-time 3D imaging has become a crucial tool as our procedures become more and more complex. I need advanced visualization tools and better ways to interact with the images.
The Holoscope I is the first and only holographic system delivering a full and tailored solution for real-time medical applications. What makes our product truly unique is the display of a real 3D hologram with unparalleled usability. Our freestanding system relieves the user from the burden of wearing a head-mounted device and enables prolonged use without any fatigue or nausea.
The Holoscope is by far the most advanced 3D visualization tool I have experienced. Having a real hologram of the heart in my hands based on CT, real-time ultrasound or any 3D data allows me to focus in and fully understand the complexities of the patient's 3D anatomy. When implanting a valve using a catheter, I can slice into a holographic aorta. Using the holographic system, I can appreciate the dynamic anatomy of the mitral valve leaflets. I can literally touch, mark, locate or navigate a path for the intervention, and these are all essential for a successful procedure. This technology provides me with more confidence, potentially resulting in shorter procedures and better outcomes. If I can see better, I can do better.
After a decade of developing the most advanced augmented reality solutions for fighter pilots, I co-founded RealView to create a tailored solution for medical professionals. Our team has invented and developed the first real-time interference-based holographic system. We are commercializing what was previously considered science fiction, allowing us to 3D print with light, creating optical reality rather than optical illusions. To ensure our competitive edge, we have protected this technology with over 40 patents, covering our algorithms, electro-optical solutions, and the applications we enable.
Medical imaging is actually a $38 billion market and the third largest market in the medical industry. We're collaborating with the largest medical imaging companies and some of the most prestigious hospitals in the world to provide them with a truly differentiating technology. Unlike all current augmented reality headsets that are considered to be relevant for medical training, the Holoscope I is the only holographic product that can be used during minimally invasive procedures. I believe we have the potential to impact millions of 3D-based procedures, initially in the fields of structural cardiology and interventional oncology.
I hope if I've inspired few people to take up some of these ideas, I feel my time is well spent. Sairam, thank you.
On behalf of the Department of Physics, we thank our Honorable Vice-Chancellor Sir, Professor Dr. Carani Sanjeevi, for delivering such an informative and inspiring talk on medical holography. True indeed, sir, that no discipline can work in isolation, and only when different disciplines come and work in tandem towards a common goal can miracles happen, can growth and development happen. I'm reminded of a beautiful statement where the word team is actually an acronym for Together Everyone Achieves More. Hence, It is only when different people from different backgrounds, when they come and work towards a common goal, can this world be a better place to live in. And you also beautifully brought out the prerequisite for innovation being one beautiful idea. And when we have that particular idea which has the potential to change the world that we live in the beautiful words of the famous author Paulo Coelho, the entire universe will conspire to help us achieve it. Thank you so much once again, sir. Sai Ram.